Hello, I'm Arthur Black. Welcome to Weird Homes, a show that looks at the most unusual and bizarre homes in North America. Ever heard the expression, my home is my temple? Well, some folks take that literally. I'm going to take you to a home that's like a spooky Ripley's Believe It or Not. We'll also drop in on a couple who specialize in the spiritual geography of the home. But first, we're going to visit the home and temple of a high priestess of voodoo. Follow me, if you dare.
I live on Piety Street, and the next block up is Desire.
And when you get to Sally Glassman's house, you'll find spirit, and plenty of it. Grace McKnight entertains spirits too. In fact, she's arranged her entire house just for them.
Welcome to the auditorium. Step right up. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Welcome to the shadowy world of the intangible, the invisible, and the incredible. New Orleans, a city famous for its nightlife. And for some citizens, its connection with the afterlife. Religion is not a life or death issue for Sally Glassman. It's life and death. She's a high priestess of voodoo who says she regularly communes with the dead. And not just departed humans. Sally also keeps in touch with her recently departed canine companion. Sally's house is much more than a home. It's a spiritual meeting place.
My home is definitely my temple to me and to other people. It's a spirit house. In the same way that people think their home is their castle, this is my temple. This is sacred space for me.
Piety Street may appear a little dull, but behind Sally's front door lies an aesthetic oasis for living spirits.
Shrines and altars are also alive. They're not static art forms, and they're meant to be interactive. I add to them, they change, they transform, they let me know what they want. They let me know if something is bothering them and should be removed. This is an altar for an old beloved dog that just went to sleep lately. A couple weeks ago, I put her down, and this is called a Govee jar. It's an earthenware jar that holds some of her ashes, that holds some of her hair. I very much feel that even though she's passed on, that now I have a wolf spirit that's watching over me in heaven.
In a house of spirits, the bedchamber is as divine as any other room in the house, since dreams are a medium for connecting with the other world. But bedrooms aren't just about sleeping. This bedroom altar pays homage to the goddess of love, right, Sally?
Well, where else does love happen? You want these things in your bedroom, keep things moving smoothly and happily, we hope. These are the other two altars in my bedroom. This one is for Simbi and Shiva, and for Shango, the Santeria god of thunder and lightning, which we're hearing now.
And when Shango really starts rattling the shutters, Sally the voodoo priestess springs into action.
We've done some public ceremonies in this neighborhood, in the Bywater neighborhood, and some of them are to ask for protection from the hurricanes which threaten New Orleans because we're below sea level and we have the river on one side and the lake on the other, and if a hurricane ever hits us head on, we're dead.
It's a brave hurricane that goes toe-to-toe with New Orleans. It first has to get by Sally's force field. Make that Sally and her sister in spirit, Lorian Bales.
Aizan,
The trappings look spooky, but then voodoo does honor the god of death, known as Gede.
I kind of forget that this stuff is odd. I'm just used to living with it, and to me, it's quite comforting. You know, I like being on good terms with Gede. It helps me not be afraid of what's around the corner. And, but I have had people come in asking to use the phone, and they're a bit taken aback by some of it. I used to have a coffin in this corner that also I used at the Day of the Dead, and that's where I stored it the rest of the time. And that disturbed people when they were visiting, spending the night. But I forget it's all here.
Homer Simpson? Somebody's got a sense of humor.
Gede, the god of death in voodoo, is really hilariously funny. He is frightening if you're afraid of him. If you're trying to hide who you are or posture or pretend that you're greater than you are, he will show you up. He will embarrass you. He will tell your secrets in a crowd. If you're for real with him, he'll be honest with you and sincere. And I think that's characteristic of voodoo in general.
In most neighborhoods, a voodoo priestess would probably cause a few raised eyebrows, but not on Piety Street.
Well, I don't know anything about it. To me, I don't care what people do. Let them do what they want. Hey, that's their life, not mine. Everybody's got a different religion. Hey there! Oh, she's a very good neighbor. You don't even know that she's there. That's the kind of neighbors we want. We don't want neighbors with kids. Kids are a problem.
But when Sally tells someone she's into voodoo, she never knows what to expect.
The weirdest and most common reaction is people who tell me that I'm evil and bad and then turn around and insist that I do some sort of spell to kill their ex-husband or make their boss die. And I keep telling them I don't do that sort of thing, and they will not relent. They insist.
But Sally has no time for small minds and petty grievances. Shango, the god of lightning and thunder, is still kicking up a storm outside. Sally's got a spirit to placate. Deep in the woods of rural Nova Scotia live two people who have dedicated their lives to keeping their energy moving. Grace McKnight and her husband Don don't just walk in circles for exercise. Their entire home environment is an exercise in maintaining the circulation of a subtle force the Chinese call qi.
Qi is in everything and on everything. It's a life force present in everything, in the trees, in the earth, in the plants, in the air, in the water. It's all around us all the time.
Put simply, if qi is circulating in your body, you feel good. And since qi is infectious, you want to invite good qi into your home. And beware the bad.
Don and I noticed one day that these plants had just sort of died for no apparent reason, and there were a lot of ants in this area as well. And one of the things I know from studying feng shui is that ants are attracted to negative qi in the earth, or another name for that is geopathic stress. So I'll just show you what happened when I walked along here with my dowsing rods. So they would cross when they got right here, which for me meant that there was negative earth energy here.
Negative qi can be indoors too. The Chinese noticed this centuries ago, and they came up with the art of feng shui, which tries to harmonize life on every level. And it can start with simply lighting a few candles.
Okay, we've created a little shrine here as an offering to the house spirit. It contains salt and water and grain, as well as a candle, which we usually light when we're cooking, and fresh flowers.
And a few hemlock trees. Nature doesn't favor straight lines, and neither does the home of Grace McKnight.
I wanted to keep them as close to natural as possible. Also, if they were all cut square, which is how timber framers usually work, then you get into this problem with cutting chi, which is formed by a very sharp right angle. And if you are in close proximity to this right angle all the time, then it can have ill effects on you physically and mentally. So the chi can spread out into this room as well, just like chi in the body would move through your arms or legs. So we walk into the washroom and you notice there's no toilet in this room because I've hidden it behind the door. And next to the toilet we have the shower, and the base is natural stones from the area so that when you're in the shower, you can have a nice little foot massage.
Not surprisingly, Grace and Dawn took great care in planning their house. They chose a construction technique almost as ancient as feng shui, straw bales. 500 bales were woven together with bamboo sticks, then covered with 3 layers of concrete. And for folks who don't believe you can live in a straw house, Grace and Dawn left visual proof: a window in the bathroom. The homemakers were just about as careful with their choice of stove.
We chose a gas stove because it has a real flame. A wood stove would even be better, so sometimes we do cook on the top of our wood stove. But an electric stove or a microwave has a very chaotic kind of energy. So that is going into the food, and it diminishes the nutritional value and the chi, the quality of chi in the food.
When you set up your home or your office, it's important to have some clarity as to the purpose of the space and what you're inviting into the space. It's kind of like the idea of creating a container. You want a strong container so that powerful things can take place in that container. And as you exhale, I'll be inserting.
Don's occupation is in harmony with his home. He's an acupuncture therapist, using special needles to regulate energy flow within the body. He and Grace are true believers. In fact, Grace believes their feng shui house and holistic lifestyle saved her from a life-threatening illness. It's all in the manipulation of energy.
So in feng shui, images and objects carry a lot of energy for the inhabitants of a space. So this being the relationship area of our house, I chose to put images of couples having fun. So they're jumping for joy and they're dancing, and animals are here having a lot of fun as well. Everything in our home affects us. So if you are waking up every morning to a picture of a bullfight, let's say, then it wouldn't be surprising to me if you told me that your relationship was in a state of torment.
Not much torment in this quiet corner of Nova Scotia. Just a classic feng shui existence. Perfect right to the day's end with a sunset didgeridoo serenade. You know, Grace and Dawn, I have to tell you, I feel better already. A man with a ram. Meet Joe Coleman. Don't look now, but that ram has 2 extra horns, which makes it a perfect addition to Joe's Brooklyn auditorium. And I mean auditorium.
Hey, babykins, look what I found. I got a 4-headed ram. Sure full of flesh. Now, don't just dig yourself.
Joe and Whitney don't just embrace life's strangest and most hideous side. They've brought so much of it home, there's no room for the furniture.
This is my home, but it's also my collection that I call the auditorium.
Not to be confused with Disney World or your local museum. There are creatures in here so bizarre and unlovable, you can't imagine them living anywhere else.
And this here is Cuddles, my two-headed monkey. We used to travel with Ward Hall's sideshow for many years. Adorable little creature there. And Cuddles, quit grabbing my head. And over here is a bullet that was shot out of Jack Ruby's gun, the famous gun that killed Oswald. This was a bullet that was shot as a ballistics test. But some of my other favorite artifacts around here, getting back to great killers of killers, here's the autograph of Florence Chandler, who married James Maybrook, who, if you believe in the Jack the Ripper diaries that he was the true Jack the Ripper, she's the killer of Jack the Ripper, and I have her autograph. I'm fascinated by the things that are the most disturbing and the most heinous, ugliest. It's those things that I want to understand and to enter in order to feel like I've confronted it and for it to release me. By finding that darkest thing in yourself, it's kind of a freedom. Like, I think that if you deny its existence, that you won't learn anything from it. But if you see that the horrors of life are just as much us, as much as we would like to push it away, that is us, that is a reflection of what's inside of us.
Whitney admits it's creepy, and that's just fine with her.
Creepy is good. A couple of times I've been startled, but, you know, which is kind of exciting, too, if you like suspense. So, you know, it keeps you on your toes. You have to watch your step in the middle of the night.
No matter how awful it is, it's a part of us. And I want to look at it. I want to confront it. I want to try to understand it. Maybe there's something about my Catholicism that's in there as well. Because I think that you have to really understand evil to understand good. To some people, this home looked very, I don't know, scary or disturbing in some way, but it feels very homey to me, and has a welcome feeling to me. These are all my friends, you know. You know, I'll find myself, you know, having conversations with them. I guess the day they start talking back, that's what I gotta watch out for.
They seem to be chatting amongst themselves for the moment, Joe, so why don't you tell us a bit about the ringmaster here, Joe Coleman?
Well, Joe's more than I can say, but I'm known as a painter, performance artist, collector, actor, pathologist. And here's my alter ego, Professor Mambuzu. That's my old alter ego who used to perform.
A smoothie like Joe's gotta have a great come on. How'd he romance his way into your life, Whitney?
He lured me over with the promise of seeing a new jar of tumors, which I couldn't possibly resist. And upon my arrival, I was greeted with this beautiful Victorian taxidermied raccoon, all dressed up with a beautiful bone pipe that was carved in its mouth as a present with a big red bow around its neck. And I felt instantly comfortable. I'd never felt more comfortable in a place in my whole life.
During our wedding, the dwarfs carried this severed head around with guacamole in it. One dwarf carried another severed head back there that had chips, but this particular severed head had guacamole in it. So you could just dip your chips in here. And here's my buddy OJ, and he seemed to want to park himself right in this old iron casket from the 1860s, right in front of the bedroom.
So a couple of times I've felt a little anxious walking to the shrine room in the middle of the night with OJ watching because he seems to have a particular gleam in his eye. So Joe put in night lights for me.
Greta and Edna, the two genuine Fiji mermaids. This is one of P.T. Barnum's great hoaxes. It would paint this elaborate banner of this beautiful woman with a fishtail, but when you went into the actual museum, this is what you saw. Bye, Greta. Bye, Edna.
And everybody else, tread water. Joe's circus isn't over yet. Joe Coleman may seem like a man who has everything, but that doesn't stop people from giving him even more.
You know, people will send me things that they think no one else is going to want, and then they know, oh, Joe's going to want it. And so, in a way, the objects themselves have a life of their own, and that they come to me because they know that at Joe's house, that's where the party is. That's where all their friends are. So I don't even have to look for them; they look for me. And I'm happy to be the guy who takes care of all the things that no one else wants.
Tough life, Joe. Sally Glassman lives and dances with her spirits. Her home is her temple. And Grace and Dawn, the essence of life courses through everything they touch. As for Joe Coleman, he's on a first-name basis with every spirit in the house.
Say bye to the TV audience.
O.J. Simpson in your living room. Talk about bad feng shui. I'm Arthur Black. Hope you enjoyed Weird Homes. Till next time.